Hello, beautiful people who are watching us. Thank you for coming here. Before I run again my Unleashing Your Authentic Feminine Voice for Power and Impact course, I would like to bring more voices to the space, to the online space. So here is with me Renata Reiter, a project coordinator, but also a specialist, see you, Renata, in
Yes.
languages. She is fluent in English, in French, in German, at least what I know of, but also her mother tongue is Hungarian, just like mine. But this time we're going to have this conversation in English about her journey with this course and with my work and with our work together. So, Renata, thank you so much for accepting my invitation. My first question is, how are you?
I'm doing great. Yeah. So I'm a little bit sad because yesterday we had our last class,
Yeah,
but as you said, this is not the end of this journey
yes.
between us and with the ladies. So I'm already playing with the idea of rolling for the next class. Yeah.
You're very welcome. You're more
Yeah. I
than
mean,
more.
the next is same, not the same, but like, you know,
Yes, beautiful, beautiful. I was very moved because just that you know that the listeners who don't know the structure of my course, it goes like that. It's 6 live sessions with a bunch of rich musical material and vocalization and fun game and theory. But in between the classes, we have one-on-one processes. And Renata, in my heart, you gave me so much joy, and I felt honored that you shared your journey with me with your voice throughout the course. So, my question would be, what was the motivation? What was happening with your voice or with you expressing yourself through your voice before the course?
sure. So one of the reasons why I stopped teaching English 3 years ago, let's say, was because I started to feel that uh, sooner and sooner I started to feel strain in my throat, and at the end of the day, I almost had a sore throat just by teaching through the whole day. And then I also thought, okay, this definitely has some maybe psychological reasons that I felt that my body potentially wanted to be out of this profession, at least for some time, or maybe for a longer period of time. But I already started at that time. So I was living in France for 9 years. Came back to Hungary 3 years ago, and I already back in France for 3 4 months visited a speech therapist. And
Mhm.
I even went to see an orthophonist that looked
Oh,
because the speech therapist, suggested seeing him to check if really physically everything is okay, if whatever I feel is really coming from the way I speak and there's nothing biological there which should be corrected. But that was none, like everything was
oh,
good. And then I told the orthophonist, like, yeah, but I'm moving to Hungary and I don't really know how one finds a good speech therapist, because I would imagine that they would mostly be available for children. And then he said, but well, you're going to Hungary. Hungary is famous for its music, so you just need to find a singing teacher. And
oh
yeah.
my God, I didn't even know that part of your journey. Sorry, I thought try not to speak, but I'm so happy that in France, the speech teacher suggested you to
The
come to
orthophonist, sorry,
ortho,
the no, no, the
orthophonist.
ortho, sorry, no, the orthophonist was the teacher. I'm sorry that I didn't express myself. It was that very special ear, nose, throat doctor that
Yes.
only deals with, I forgot it's the name. It's not the orthophonist, you're right, it's a speech therapist, but there's also an phoniatre.
Onyat, yeah.
Sorry, guys, don't remember the English thing.
Okay.
So much about me being fluent in English. But anyway, so the doctor said that, hey, you're going to you're going to live in Hungary, so you might as well just find any good teacher.
Oh
So
my God, this doctor, thank you.
yeah, yeah,
He
yeah,
was so wise. Thank you.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
great advice, not just because of me, but because of your journey, and it's a so wise thing. So you did it.
Yes, and so there was one thing with this throat thing, that I was speaking and speaking, and my throat was closing up.
Mhm.
And there was another thing which concerns my orthodoncy,
Mhm.
is that I got my teeth like corrected visually in 2015. But then because I have this thing, which many people might have, of squeezing here and really collecting all stress, like anytime I feel frustrated or I feel that I'm in a communication and my words doesn't get through, that it often happens with my family, that I feel it's sort of a wall, an invisible but a very strong wall. And I bump into that with full speed, and then I feel the pain here. And
Oh,
the squeezing started to deform my teeth. So it started to look like a horseshoe, which is very
oh,
bad. So because it's problematic, I started to have different problems of eating because the teeth didn't meet at the right
right. Yeah,
place.
the right place.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah.
Just before, don't forget your word, but oh my God. I think so many of you can relate to that. I can relate to that, sure, because uh, tension and stress very often appears here. So the reason I was working with you so much around the jaw, this joint, it's because you gave me also inspiration, but also it was a deep analysis in my system. So in the last week, even I created an exercise for you, which we have done yesterday. And it was, I'm so thankful to you because what you are saying, and also you can hear Renata, the poet here, because she said about like your words doesn't come through it. They are going against a wall, and so you feel kind of lonely and inside and stressed, and so it's the stress is growing here. So I think it's so important that you name that, so important that you give this explanation, because I think so many of the women, at least in the circle of my students and myself, got to this problem, jaw problem. So I think half of my class is about doing those kind of stuff, and even go with the hand and place it. So I didn't even know that part of your journey. I mean not all of the details. So, and what happened throughout the course?
So already I think with this horse, honey, apple, especially
Course
the
on
apple
apple,
part, yeah,
the apple.
especially the apple part. And it's funny because one of the other participants said that her gagging reflex. We are really just imagining putting an apple. We're not putting an apple back into the throat. But my gagging started on week 3. Week
Oh
1 and
my
2
God.
was okay, yeah, but then it went away. But it was interesting to say, like at the beginning, it was okay to imagine that I'm placing something as an object big as an apple back in this place. But every time we did that, and even when the gagging reflex kicked in, that was still okay. Like after just had to swallow a few and then sort of relax the area, relax. But so I realized that I don't use that area of my mouth
Mm.
when I speak at all. And when we did these exercises, even when singing, I was really concentrating on the sensation,
Mm.
trying to trigger the same sensation that I felt when we did this apple exercise.
Oh my God. I let me honor your mind. And Renata is someone who learns through cognition very hard. Like your mind is a super mind in the way I see, and I get it through our one-on-one work, but also your soul and heart. You are very fast in digesting cognitive information and then let it sink in the body. So I was amazed your progress, what you have done from week to week. And it's very interesting what you say about this exercise. Just a little explanation. So I have a sequence of images. It's called the horse honey apple sequence is the kind of the that's how it burned under the skin of my students. So the horse honey apple sequence, you imagine being a horse and you buzz your lips. Then you imagine to have an apple and actually to have the apple, put the apple in the mouth and then in the throat place back there. And so the reason I always said, maybe you noticed, I always said that word hugeness. Imagine, enjoy the hugeness, and I even emphasized the hugeness. So I put a more volume and more accentuation and the hugeness of the word, hugeness of the throat, because exact. what you're saying is so precise that we don't use that space enough. Although there's Carnegie Hall, Concertgebouw, Covent Garden, MIPA, and all kinds of big concert hall here in that space. And the impulse you were talking about of your other sister in the group and yourself, it's also related to that place that we just simply don't use that space. And over time, your classmates, she also got over of this, and as I hear, you're also
Yeah,
doing
yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah. So it was just one time. It was surprising, but
Yeah.
maybe I think that's why it's good that we share this. But because she did, I wasn't afraid when it happened because it
Mm.
happened to her first. So I was like, this is absolutely normal. Because if you
You,
think about it, it's a bit scary that you have this reflex without actually trying to insert anything there.
yeah, you just imagine the apple being there and you go, oh, you got this impulse of one thing. And I'm so happy you're saying that, because also it says a lot about the safety in the group, because it's designed for women to really share the deepest things around the vocal apparatus, which is a very sensitive place because we are manifesting ourselves through the voice. So it's kind of also not just physical things, but emotional or soul things. And I'm so happy you are saying that you felt like, I'm not the only one, I'm not an idiot. If you have something, you are never an idiot, because you have that thing emotionally, physically, you have that thing. And sometimes under the black mantle of shame, we don't want to share that. But I'm so happy this sister just did it on the very first class, and then it was an opening for you as well.
It was on the table. Yeah, yeah. And so one other thing is that I would put as an interesting remark is that I when so we of course, sorry, I'm not married now, and so it's in the plural. I have to speak in the plural. I don't have to, but the parent, had we exist together. So, but because then actually it was a big thing to move back to Hungary during the
Of course.
deepest times of Corona. Anyway, so once back in Hungary, I started to see a vocal teacher for these purposes. And what happened there is she was really good. I mean, she was well trained, etc. But I still felt sort of that I had to be perfect. And
Mm,
there was immediate error correction. And if someone is teaching versus languages, this is a big thing that we should avoid that. I don't know about teaching singing,
musical.
so maybe it is a must when you teach singing, but I really liked that here I could really relax. And so what happened that I got even more stressed during the singing. So we use singing just for the speech production. It was so I managed once strain my voice because I was trying to sing very correctly as it was expected. So and I think it's also maybe a personality thing that whenever I feel that I'm working with someone who is much better at the thing that I'm learning from, I have this feeling that I have to show that I'm worthy of the attention. I have to show that I'm fully involved and committed. But this creates stress. This
Yeah.
creates stress. And what I really liked that here I felt that everything is okay. I loved what you gave us yesterday as a parting message. Sing anyway, and I love that. And I would like to have T-shirts having written on that,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
whatever how you sing, just sing.
Yeah, and sing, also speak your truth, in the sense that sing anyway, just keep singing your own song. Renata, I have all kinds of body sensations while you are talking, and I'm so honored of your, yeah, really, of you choosing me as a teacher, because you know me as a singer-songwriter. You told me about this. And it's also a beautiful thing that kind of you followed my journey as a singer, and you were watching the material. And right away on the day when the course started, you appear at 7 o'clock or 7:30 on Zoom for an online coffee chat. And the only objection you had, it was about the time zone. So it was so beautiful that you decided. And I felt really like I like to work with people like you who got the message immediately, and you got this, you explore, you experiment, and you, my heart, you made a beautiful job. And I think not just in terms of voice, because I've heard the progress week by week, but also the things that you sorted out from your soul, like you are just saying about you being a kind of perfectionist, or you kind of you need to deserve
Obsessed.
that.
Yeah, obsessed, I would say. I learned that perfectionism is indeed a kind of OCD. And it really liberated me since I heard that, because it's like I don't really want perfection. I'm just really obsessed with being accepted. And
Yeah.
I have this false belief that unless it's not perfect what I do, I'm not going to be accepted. So I'm
Oh,
really happy that during your class we didn't have to go for perfect, like anything was good, just do something. I really liked how you said that, just don't practice before making the videos, just
yeah,
like your first take is good enough.
yeah. And you know, you made me so happy when you were in the on tour in the Alps, or you were hiking, and you were like singing summertime like this happy, and all your limbs are all the direction of the space around you. And you made me so happy because it was not just the voice that opened up in you, but so many things in your soul. You rewritten so many patterns of you, and it was really an exciting journey and a deep loving embrace that I got to work as a result of working with you. And I don't know if I may share that, but you also shared with me a lot of emotional things.
Sure, go for it.
So maybe you share it, because I think it's
Okay,
very
it's
intimate.
okay.
And what
Yeah,
happened after the first class with you?
yeah,
I got a message from
yeah,
you, and I was
yeah,
like
yeah.
almost crying.
Yeah. So if I may make it a bit longer introduction to this. So one thing was this squeezing thing, but the reason why that really pushed me to get on this journey right now and not a later one, because I could have chosen a later appointment, was that I knew that my mom had a life-saving surgery scheduled. I'm not sure if properly it's medically, but anyway, so she had cancer and she had to have this Whipple surgery, which is have 3% rate of possibility that you would die right in the surgery. She's doing fine, so I don't want to
So good.
wait. So she's doing fine, so
Oh,
that's
I'm
really good. So
so
it was in mid-June, but I was like, I'm not able to deal with this stress, and not just because of any consequences of what happens to her during that day, how much time she's going to need to get better. Is she going to be the same person after they remove so many stuff from the
yeah.
inside? Yeah, so I had so many questions, like how am I going to be able to help her, to be there for her? Right now, we are also having this wish to have a child. So for me, I was dealing with the fact that I might lose my own mother. How am I going to become a mother? Am I? So all these questions in my head, and I felt I
I love
really
your
need.
questions.
I
And I
really,
honor your vulnerability. Sorry, I have just.
I felt that I really need right now this. I don't know how it was intuition. I don't know how I knew that this is exactly, but I really try to just listen to this voice that comes usually from my head or my body. And this voice told me that this is what you need to be safe. This is, if you do this, you're going to be strong enough to and face whatever comes. I don't know, like it makes like logically no sense that I had this strong conviction that if I get rolled on this class, everything is going to be okay in a way, because I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be ready to face and deal with whatever happens.
Oh my Renata.
And so the emotional part is that every session was ending with a lullaby. And so when you sang the first lullaby, I mean, because at the time I didn't, so I think I was just very touched, but I didn't start crying while the lullaby was still going on. But once, so like I hit close, and then this wave washed over me, because while listening to your lullaby, I felt that I've never been loved, like I've never experienced this sort of pure unconditional motherly love. And it doesn't make any. I don't want to imagine that I have the worst mother in the world. She was as good as she could be. as for the circumstances. But I think it's difficult to give unconditional love to a child. I think it's super difficult. You have to have like good, I don't know what it takes.
I'm a mother
But
of two. You're exactly right. Yes.
yeah. So it's not like we talk about it as if it's a given that, you know, every mother loves children unconditionally. But I think it's freaking difficult. Like if you never, like, how would you be able to do something if you have never seen how it's that done? And I believe that we can learn from other chosen mother figures. So there is always space for improvement, and we can learn. And it doesn't. It's not only we're not only exposed or we're not dependent on the way or the example of our own mother. But there's still work. I mean, if we don't get from that side, then we have to look out in the world to find the examples, the people that we can learn from, how to be this type of mother. And so anyway, so for me, and then I hit close for the class, and then my husband came to greet me and say like, everything's okay. And I was like, oh, no, it's not. And then I said, I was just like crying, and he was holding me for 30 minutes because he understood. He's also doing singing as a hobby. So he understood that something very big and emotional is washing through me, and he held me, and it was just so nice, because I didn't need him to hold me as if he were my mom, because I've already experienced this, but it was just so new, and so like I felt that something is really like chains were leaving my body or and so the second time, after the second lullaby, I only cried for 5 minutes. And I could console myself, so I didn't need to be held. And then the third time, during you sang it, I had like tears like running down on my face. But after the lullaby was over, I was okay. And the rest, I was just enjoying it. And yesterday, while you were singing, I was the first time, I think, I stood up and I was dancing.
I saw it. And it's, oh my God, this sharing worth goes. So, my people who are listening to us just see this beautiful soul. And Renata, I really honor your whole being for who you are simply. And what you're describing, it's actually, yeah, you were rewritten. You have been rewritten your patterns in terms of how much joy and love you can accept, maybe, or how much you can give permission to yourself to feel it in the body. So this huge wave and the 30 minutes crying with your beloved husband, who is a great man. Thank you, husband, for thank you for being there for Renata. It's a big rewriting of a pattern, or like a, I would say, a healing step. So thank you for sharing this from this very vulnerable place. And I saw your dancing yesterday, and I was so happy because more and more, week by week, you sent me videos, and more I saw this opening and stretching in the air, and why you gave a voice to your things. It was just so beautiful, humanly beautiful to witness that. So I thank you so much for sharing all this with me, and it's really, you made me cry, like, because you say that it was a kind of a mother quality love which I provide, although I really find it that is what naturally coming from me to all, to you and any other women and sisters who is on the course. And I just, I just love seeing that the voice is an amplifier of joy, an amplifier of love, an amplifier of permission, of being who we are, and an amplifier of the validation of ourselves. So it's, I think you said it in a nicer way with your metaphors and with your emotional stories. So thank you so much for sharing all this. Is there anything you want to share with me, or with the sisters, or with the women who are about to join my class, or thinking, or just watching us?
So maybe if I can share that little story about the drawing that
Yeah.
I made. So about 3 years ago, there it was back deep COVID. There was this video that you uploaded, you're singing your song live in
Yes.
Hungarian, and it was calling us to send like little maybe photos or videos. I don't remember the details, but many people decided to draw something. I saw that later in the video clip, and then so the video clip had been compiled, the compilation of the things that people sent.
Yeah, it was a
What I
public
did,
collaboration of the with the
yeah,
public.
yeah, and I really love the clip. And so what I did is I was thinking like, it would be so nice to send something to Bea, because this, like the way you were singing that song, it like generally I liked what you've done before very much, but that was just something to the heart. I really needed that song, that moment, to get over of certain things, like as a tipping point in my life. And anyway, so I decided, okay, I'm going to draw something, because as many other people, I rediscovered drawing during this COVID period.
COVID, yeah, yeah.
And so I created sort of, I know that they exist, the poems, which is called like a picture poems, or
Yes.
when you actually make a picture using the letters. So I was
I
trying
have
going
seen.
for something like this, and I never sent a picture. I never sent it to you or to the email address that was available,
Since
because yes, what?
since
It's,
yesterday.
yeah, since yesterday, yeah. Because I felt like, well, it's, it's like it doesn't really matter, or like so many other people are going to send something, like maybe you will never actually see it, or like all these negative things in my head. And I was like, it's not that important. I really enjoyed doing the drawing, and so it was put up in our apartment in France, and it moved back to Budapest, and it's just here on my right. And so it's part of our life, anyway. So this drawing, and so I sent you the video yesterday, and I knew from week 2 that I would like to share this with you. But I
Mm.
was like, there were so many things, homeworks, etc. And I decided that I'm going to do this towards the end. I didn't expect it to do it exactly on the last day of the class, but well, procrastination. I'm not sure if it's procrastination, but then after doing it, I was a bit meditating on this whole feeling, and I realized that I was very grateful for you watching it, and then you sent me this sweet video as a reaction. But for somehow, um, listening to your video or knowing that I showed you, I felt serenity, I felt peace, but I didn't add anything plus to the great feeling that I felt. And I realized that what I really needed is to feel that I am allowed to send it to you, that there is a space between us. And it was already week 2 when I felt this, that there is this space between us in which it would be completely okay that I share this story with you. And I think since week 2, I was living this serenity, and that's why showing it actually to you, and it told me so much about what we wish and like what we imagine that we are wishing for. I thought the goal was to show you this, but no, it was enough to believe that I'm allowed, that I'm worthy to show it to you. And then
And thank you so much. The picture is really beautiful, and seeing the lyrics of the song I wrote back to COVID, and just to know that it means that much to you, it's a so beautiful thing. But furthermore, what you are saying about the space in between us, not just us, Renata, and by you and me, but also the whole group space. There's this metaphor. That is a fireplace. We are also having this gesture. Yes, it's like, we are sitting around the same fire. Yeah, thank you. And I think it's so important when we talk about change. And as you can hear from Renata, and thank you, Renata, really for these vulnerable sharings, that I'm probably, and now I know because I have track record, I am a teacher who's designed for deep change, to accompany deep change, because that's where I am at home. I'm a kind of expert in transformation, and the number one prerequisite of change is safety. Because change goes beyond our comfort zone. It goes to the unsafe zone. It goes to the unknown zone. So wherever we are, and we kind of the origo of the place where we start this changing process, needs to be very safe, like very safe, like on the body level that you're describing here, that You know that whatever you send to me, it will be heard, listened, seen, validated, and I give a reaction to it. So it's so sharply, precisely says that I think we need to be safe. And I'm on purpose teaching by a foundation of love. And love means for me care, connectedness, safety, acceptance, attention. And I think that's where people can grow and change, like you can hear with Renata. Thank you so much, Renata, for this conversation. And I
Thank you.
think many of the people will relate to this because you shared so deep things and you are not alone with any of it. So thank you so much. And I wish a beautiful next step on your journey, which might happen with me partly, I hope. And thank you so much again. Bye, everyone. Bye, Renata.
Bye. Bye bye. Take care.